Hey guys, welcome to TCR. Sid here. Thanks for clicking on the video. If you haven't done so already, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Can you raise chickens for meat? Well, yes, you can. Let's talk about it. This bird right here is a 1-month-old Cornish cross, and it is ready to go out to pasture and leave the brooder behind. There's a couple different kinds of meat chickens, of course, that you can raise. There's red rangers, there's a lot of dual purpose birds like barred rocks and Delawares and things, but these are fast growing, the same kind that you would get basically at the grocery store when you buy chicken. There's a couple different ways you can raise these guys to help cut down on costs. Pasturing them, of course, is one of the best ways to keep your costs down if you're able to. In fact, we're building a new tractor for ours that we are going to use to pasture them in this year because, well, we're tired of our old one. It just wasn't as functional as we would like.
Check the other end, make sure it's still flush. Keep going. Keep going.
A split. You can also do things like fodder trays, garden scraps, all kinds of things like that to help supplement your feed bill for these guys. But in reality, you can process them out as Cornish game hen size at 4 weeks. You can do them at 8 weeks, 12 weeks. Some people do them at 16 weeks and let them get really big. Just depends on what kind or how much meat you're wanting out of a single bird and how much feed you're wanting to put into it. Right now I have turkeys, Cornish cross, which are meat chickens, essentially one breed of meat chickens. I actually also have some Freedom Rangers over there as well that are holdovers from last year. They're actually, believe it or not, are also decent egg layers, the girls anyway. Boys I haven't gotten any eggs out of. Weird, right? I also have ducks and quail. All of these are great meat sources and they're all relatively easy to raise. The great thing about raising your own meat birds is that you will know what they ate, how they were raised, what the conditions were. They're at that awkward teenage stage where you can see a lot of their skin showing. The reason for that, and when you raise them yourself, you're familiar with this aspect of it, is they grow so quickly. These guys are 4 weeks old today. They grow so quickly that they basically grow faster than than their bodies can handle. So they their skin will grow before their feathers come in, so you end up with these kind of bald spot looking things. And the first time you raise them, if you're not familiar with them, it can be a little bit jarring because it does seem like there's something wrong with them, but no, that's normal. They just grow that fast. So after we brood our birds in here, we like to move them out to the pasture. Now, obviously, if you're able to pasture them, you're gonna get a lot of nice health benefits from that. They're eating the grass, the bugs, they're out in the sun. You're cutting down on your feed costs because they're eating nature out there, so it's less that you have to put into it. If pasturing them is not an option for you, you can always do things like garden scraps will help tremendously with decreasing your feed costs for your meat birds, as well as doing fodder trays. You can get some nice, easy, basic trays going. The fodder is really easy. You just soak it and it basically just grows, and you can just keep the trays going for them and give them those. So if you're raising them in a smaller area, you can very easily have them set up so that you are just changing out their trays on a regular basis. And that way they're getting some fresh fodder, some fresh greens. Their meat's gonna be healthier for you. The other thing that you wanna think about is that when you are doing these raising meat birds, you've got to remember that if you're not comfortable with processing them yourself, it's really hard to find people that will process meat birds for you. A lot of places that will offer butchering services for hogs and sheep and goats and things like that will not do poultry. So anytime you're doing any kind of poultry or fowl, you're really gonna have to step up and do it yourself unless you make a deal with a buddy or a neighbor who's willing to either help you out or do it for you, for either in trade for some of the meat or for cash. You also want to think about the type of food you're going to be giving them as well as what you're supplementing them with. Obviously, even our pastured poultry, I still give them feed, but I make sure that I give them a really good feed. I give them a non-GMO, no corn, no soy feed. I want to have the best quality I can. And in order to have the best quality I can, it really needs to be, you know, a good quality feed. You don't want to just buy whatever the $10.99 bag of scratch is to feed them. This is what you're going to be feeding your family with, so you want to make sure that you are giving them a good quality feed supplement to go along with whatever you're giving them, whether it's fodder, garden scraps, pasturing them, whatever it is. But they are relatively cheap to raise, even when you are feeding them a higher quality, more expensive feed, which you will taste the difference in your meat. I promise you that, especially if you're able to pasture them or do some serious fodder trays for them. But definitely recommend growing the meat yourself and doing your own meat birds. It's so much better than store-bought chicken. It's so much better for you. It's better for the animals. You will find that you will use all of it. You won't waste any of it like you do when you get a whole chicken at the store and you bake it and then you just throw the carcass away. No, you're gonna make broth. You're gonna eat every part of that chicken, I guarantee it, because you had to work so hard to harvest it, raise it, and you put so much money and time and effort into it. It's not necessarily cheaper than store-bought chicken. The quality is better, it's better for you, but you're also putting a lot of work into it. So it's something to consider, but it is definitely doable. And if you're able to, don't let it scare you off. You can most definitely make it a successful little venture, even if it's just growing enough to feed for your family. You will notice the difference and you will be thinking that it's the best chicken you've ever had in your life. Thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and click the bell so you get the notifications.